tradition matters in college football, maybe more than any other sport. And alumni, former players, we get a bit upset when traditions are changed or ignored. You can't watch a Notre Dame game without, a black and white picture of the Four Horsemen or Nuke Rockney. You can't watch a USC game without, Marcus Allen or Reggie Bush or some other great from the past. In the NFL, I just did the Saints-Rams game out at SoFi Stadium. They build new stadiums in the NFL all the time. College football, they don't build new stadiums. They expand on their old stadiums. They put on top new stuff on top of the old traditions of the past. So this traditions thing is a part of college football. And for guys like you, Matt, and myself, and countless other guys who have experienced the bonding and the brotherhood of singing the fight song together after a Buffalo victory, and recognize how foundational, how important, how core that is to our experience. I'm not saying you have to follow my particular experience. I want you to have the same joy that I got of singing that song, the same sense of brotherhood that I got from singing that song. It's less about you doing it my way and me wanting you to experience the amazing feelings that I got from doing that in a locker room in Nebraska after we kicked their ass. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what bonds you together. And that's what fuels you to the next week and fuels you in the spring. So on one hand, it's just a song with some words that were written a long time ago. That's one perspective. Your perspective, my perspective, is this is our freaking brotherhood. This is our mantra that we are willing to lay it on the line for. And this is what we use to celebrate our greatness when we have come together and done great things on a football field.
And rather than making it such a polarizing item here to talk about, we talked about this on Tuesday, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday on a show I was on. Why not totally embrace it? You don't, like, in my opinion, it's almost looked at like Coach Prime and what they're trying to do up there. It almost looks at the old school Colorado Buffaloes and goes, we don't want anything to do with that. We're just going to go on our own road. And that's fine if that's the way they want to go, but you've got to pay homage to it a little bit. You can't just neglect it. Why not? What's the harm in bringing everyone together rather than having this division? Because the division's in the fan base. The division is it's not really in the alumni because they've been there for 3 years, but I can definitely feel it inside the stadium, bro. I was there on Saturday, and there were Colorado fans fighting with each other while the Arizona fans were sitting there laughing. I mean, Hannibal's son, just committed to Arizona today. He was there with Hannibal at the game as a CU recruit.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, the Colorado experience that Hannibal had obviously would be, for him to be recruited to this program now. I'm sure he talked to his dad and was like, I'm not seeing the same things that you talked about. I'm not seeing those things. So that's unfortunate. We lose on a guy who, whose dad was a great Colorado Buffalo and will hopefully go on to be a great football player. And so, I think it speaks to this current disconnect that we're feeling. I don't know if you remember back in Dan Hawkins' era, he took down all the pictures off the walls of the past.
I remember.
And I was blown away because his logic was, well, we need to create our own history. It's like, yes, every team is responsible for creating their own history. What someone did 10 years ago doesn't buy you a cup of coffee this year on the football field. You got to earn that shit on the field every game, every play. But as you walk around the facility, you should embrace and be reminded of the greatness of the past. And when I walked into the John Muir High School weight room in 1984 as a skinny-ass freshman, and I saw the 250-pound bench press club, You know, I was motivated because I wanted to be in that damn club. I wanted my name to be painted on the wall next to those other dudes in the 500-pound squat club. I wanted my name to be on that wall. When you have images of greatness in your facility that remind you of the greatness of the past, they help you to strive forward for yourself and for your current version of your team. So whether we're talking about John Muir High School, where I went to school, we're talking about the Colorado Buffaloes, for Dan Hawkins to pull the images of the past down, the greatness of the past down, where's this greatness that you aspire to every day, that you were reminded of every single day? And so it's, on one hand, again, we're talking about a fight song, but hopefully folks watching this podcast recognize that we're talking about something a bit bigger than just the song, the traditions of the past, the history, the embracing of it, and more than just, oh, because I accomplished something great, you need to praise me. I'm looking to inspire this current crop of Buffaloes. I'm looking for somebody to walk in as I did as a 209-pound freshman thinking, where am I? How's this all going to work out for me? What am I going to do? Oh, there's Mike Jones, the 245-pound senior who is a leader, who is a 3+ student in the class, who's now a reverend and a politician in Virginia, who does great things. I saw that when I was a freshman and thought, that's a dude I want to get behind. That's a guy whose example I want to follow. So when you start removing the past, you remove these connections that help us want to be better, that give us examples of who we want to be, that give us examples of what I can actually be. Sometimes you have these self-imposed limits on yourself, and you see someone else's greatness and you go, oh shit, I can do that. So yeah, we're talking about a fight song, but if you're just talking about the song, you're missing, I believe, what Matt and I are trying to talk about actually here.
Amen to that. And then the other thing, last thing I'll say about this is, what if? Because I think there's this I think that the coach doesn't know what he doesn't know in this situation, which is very rare because he's Deion Sanders and his guys on his staff don't know. And Dre just got there, so I don't know how much he's really pushing this, if at all. But what if, because it gravitated to Chad Brown and Mike Jones and Big Allen Canavis and Joel Steed and Cordell and Rashawn and Westbrook and Phil Savoy and Steve Rosga and Greg Jones and Ryan Olson and your boy and Lawrence Vickers and Joe Klatt and Sam Wilder and all these other badasses that came from all over the place and came to Boulder, and it seemed to work for us. What if it did work for your team? And that's really what's missing. That's the glue that brings it all together. And your biggest resource is something that you look at and go, it's really not that important, yet it could be the most minimal thing that helps you the most. And I don't understand why they won't even try to embrace it. That's my biggest beef with this now it's like a reluctance to do it. And it's just the country club version that they sing in the stadium's cool, and I'll pump my fist, but that is not the way we get down in the team room. And I just wish they would allow it to be seen for what it really is once, and see if all those kids really sit there and go, well, this is lame. The first group in 30 years of Colorado football that would do that. Because every other group went, holy shit, this is incredible. How do I get down there with that?
When you build a team through the portal, as this team has been built now for 3 years, you've got this band of mercenaries. And they all come to campus for many different reasons. And I would suspect for most of them, the number one reason is not to become a Colorado Buffalo. It's for prime. It's for money. It's for the social media handles on the back of the practice jerseys, all these other things other than becoming a Colorado Buffalo. But now when you sing that song, now you're tied to the Colorado Buffaloes of the past. This is what we did in the past. And you're talking about this song that is iconic to this program and to this university. Now you're getting steeped in the tradition of it all. So this era of college football, in my opinion, needs traditions more than ever, because I was on campus for 5 years. And so my being nurtured to become a leader, because leadership's been talked about on this year's team and how it's lacking. I was nurtured to become a leader. I watched other Buffalo greats do that. And then when my time came, I was nurtured by the coaching staff and had enough confidence and enough success on the field that I felt very comfortable with that. My success wasn't someplace else last year. My teammates saw me do it this year. And so, yeah, again, it seems, I can imagine for somebody who's 25 years old, you guys are, I'm sorry, Bailey, if I'm calling you out here, man.
He's on our side.
All good, Chad.
All right. It can seem, what are you guys talking about? This song, it can seem corny and a bit hokey, but again, it speaks to this entire experience that we're talking about and the connection to your era and past eras, your football team to past CU football teams. Singing that song together also brings the people in the room together more, which they clearly need, as constructed by through the portal, where guys are coming from all these different places. We're singing the Buffs song, not Coach Prime playing my music. No, it's the Buffs music, the name that's on the freaking front of your jersey, the Buffalo that's on your helmet, man, the Buffalo that we ran out behind on the field. So, yeah, I think it's needed probably more than ever now.
And I will say this is the last thing I'm going to say that made me think about this with Chad. It's the same way with me on the leadership thing. I got there as a snot-nosed freshman, didn't know shit, just trying to hang on to my ass, but had great examples in front of me, seniors like Brady McDonald and, guys like that. And then as I get through the ranks the next year, our captains are Dre and Vic and Mike Lewis and Bannon, and it's a high bar to strive for. So by the time I'm a grown man as a fifth-year senior and they put the C on my chest, I got to live up to all those guys, and then I got to set the tone for Vickers, who's going to be a captain the next year. And, it keeps rolling. And this is it. This really hit me hard when you were saying this, Chad. The fight song, yeah, it's played during the game 15 times, 20. But we don't sing it. We, the players and the coaches and everybody involved in the bubble, we don't sing it unless what? Unless we win.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we win. So it's a privilege to sing it. It like what Coach Cabral said in that video, and I'm so glad you posted it, bro. And best of luck to Coach Cabral. We're praying for him and his family right now. I know they're going through some stuff. But for him to say it like that and just take me back to that's really what it's all about. We just won. We just sacrificed. You brought up singing it at Nebraska. My last Big 12 game, regular season game ever, was a win in Lincoln in 2004. And literally all we said when we walked into the team room at the end of it was, this room has only heard this song about 4 times in 100 years. Make sure it echoes through Memorial. And I just, it needs to be something that hopefully next year is a priority, at least to find out about. I would hope that the new coaching staff under Coach Prime will do a little bit of research, but we'll see. All right, so let's move.
All right, let me add just one thing before we move on.
Yeah.
You talking about the fight song, me talking about the fight song. I don't think of myself as some soft dude.
No,
it touches
bro.
me in my heart. It tears me up. I mean, the video I posted, Cabral's crying. I'm crying.
I was crying watching.
We're all badass football playing dudes. So again, even if you think this has got nothing to do with winning and losing, why would you not want somebody to have a deep emotional connection to their brotherhood and to their university? Where I am 55 fucking years old. I last played for the Colorado Buffaloes when I was 21, was the last time I sang that song as a player in a Buffaloes uniform. So 34 years have gone by, and it still touches me deep in my heart. And you don't think that's an important experience for someone to have? Come on, man.
It connects us. I'd be shocked, and I'm just going to use his name because he's the big dog on the team. I'd be shocked if Jordan Seaton even knows the words.
Yeah.
Like the only time I've ever seen it sung at CU is after the CSU. When did Travis get hurt?
The first
CSU game, right?
CSU.
Travis, first year.
Yeah.
So after they beat Nebraska, we went into the locker room after they beat Nebraska. It was me and Westbrook and a couple other guys. It was crazy, but they damn sure didn't sing the fight song. It was like Big X the Plug or someone was up there rapping. And I'm not saying I was having a shitty time. I had a great time because they just beat Nebraska, but I must have sing that song 15 times and it went on deaf ears. The next week, Rick George made a point to sing it after CSU, but Travis had just got hurt and everybody was concerned about him and they were like going to the hospital. And it was the most, they don't know. When I'm over there bouncing up and down and shit, some old guy in the corner yelling "Hooday," they're like, this guy's fucking crazy because they don't get it. So it's so fun and it brings us together and it takes guys from every different area and every different background and puts them in the same pot and stirs it up and we all become black and gold together in that one moment. And I just wish that they would understand the power they're holding right in front of them that they won't open. They got Pandora's box right in front of them. Crack that bitch open and pour it all over your team and see what you get.